This is me doing some solo training in the Medusa edged weapon system, or at least practicing shock and latch and drawing my weapon and pretending to stab. Now, this does not mean I want to do this to another human being. This does not mean that I think I will ever have to do this to another human being. And this definitely does not mean that I don't understand the legal ramifications of doing something like this to another human being. I do, and that's why I always practice awareness and avoidance in my life. And my self-defense is based on using force being the last option in self-defense. And when it comes to force, potentially lethal force is the last option of force use. I understand the law says I have to be a reasonable person. I have to use reasonable force that is reasonable to the situation. I understand this, and this is what I train for. I train for multiple scales of force. I train to de-escalate. I train to stop aggression as soon as I can escape to safety. This is all part of my training. I just want people to know that this is the very last thing I would want to do to somebody else. Now that we got that out of the way, let's discuss the Medusa edged weapon system. I just saw a comment that someone posted that said it is just a copy of Urban Combatives. And while I may pull from Urban Combatives and the things that Lee Morrison posts and from some of his material I bought, of course I do. I quite like what he does. And I do talk to him about it occasionally. He has a great system, and I love watching him move and watching how he uses preemptive striking. But he's not the only one who's come to this conclusion. Mike and Seth Raymond did their own studies of violence and came to similar conclusions. Instead of making Urban Combatives practitioners get angry, this should make them think we are on the right track. And let's be honest, preemptive striking has been around for centuries, or else you wouldn't have the term sucker punch. W.E. Fairbairn was doing it in the 1920s in his Shanghai school. He passed it on to the OSS members and to military around the world. He built a whole system on preemptive striking. This is nothing new. Gung Ho Chuan has it. My DVDs from Kelly McCann from the 90s has it. My CLAT instructor was teaching me preemptive striking back in the early 2000s before I even heard of Urban Combatives. And the list goes on. Jeff Thompson, who was a mentor to Lee Morrison, invented the term the fence, but other people were using that before him. He wasn't the first. And he wasn't the first to do preemptive striking. It's gone on for eons. The problem is that when people popularize it, people think they originated it. And that's just not true. They may have perfected it. They may have built a system around it that is a unique system, but it's nothing new. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the way Lee Morrison has put his stuff together. There's a real science to it. There's a great system to it, and it's wonderful. But Medusa has nothing to do with that. I may, because I take liberally from the stuff I see. And that's a mission Lee Morrison is on. He wants people to have these skills. That's why he puts his stuff out on YouTube. I am sure that Lee would be happy to see people using it and perfecting it for themselves. But they should give him credit. Understand that Medusa is very specialized, and it is a formula that can be downloaded very easily, very succinctly, and very quickly. And it not only makes you a capable person of doing extreme violence with a blade, it also lets you understand how edged weapons violence can be brought to you. It is a perfect starting point for edged weapons practitioners, and I believe everyone who practices edged weapons should train in it. Urban Combatives is a different animal, and I recommend security-minded people look into it. That's my opinion. Thank you. Have a nice day.